Hello guys and welcome to Odds on Bundesliga 29th match day. The title is in the pockets of Bayern Munich after the defeat of Borussia Dortmund against Leipzig, but still many things to talk about with Radek Vegas, of course, and with you. Leave your comments below and don't forget to press the like and subscribe. And now let's go on with the show. Bundesliga title, Radek, is over again with Dortmund dropping points, but many things to analyze. So, how are you? Radek, let's start with Dortmund.
Yeah, they have lost in the top game on Saturday against Leipzig, and I wasn't that surprised because the championship race was over before, when Borussia Dortmund only collected 1 point against Augsburg and Cologne. So they lost the title not in this game, but it was obvious that Dortmund has a lot of problems and maybe also the wrong coach. Marco Rose did a great job at Gladbach, but at the end he also didn't manage to make Dortmund better, and the coaches in the years before, Favre and even Edin Terzic, might have had more points with Dortmund. But anyway, the race for Champions League is still open, so Dortmund is good in collecting points in the last games, so they also have collecting points against Stuttgart. The problem is Stuttgart was getting better in the last games. I was not too much impressed of their games against Bielefeld, but they had a lot of chances. They were the clear better team. They show a good trend, so that's not an easy win for Dortmund at the moment situation. But anyway, at the end, if you have a look at the odds, I think Borussia Dortmund has fair enough odds of 1.9 winning the game, and I think they will show kind of reaction. So it's a good option to bet on a Dortmund win, no matter how they played in the last game and no matter how strong Stuttgart was in some games at home. They won the last 2 games at home 3-2.
Yep.
So yeah, it's not a sure bet, but comparing the odds of 1.94 with the chances of winning, then I think it's still worth betting on Borussia Dortmund here.
For Dortmund, very difficult season, many injuries, out in the Champions League in the group stage, out in the Europa League against Rangers, and far from Bayern Munich, and they will lose, of course, many important players in the summer. Very disappointing the season for Borussia Dortmund. This is the game we have on Friday. On Saturday, we have Bayern Munich, Augsburg. Is always difficult to find good odds to bet on Bayern, thrashing every single team. Even Freiburg, the best defense in the Bundesliga, and Bayern were able to score 4. This game comes in the middle of the Champions League quarterfinals against Villarreal, and we have to remember, Radek, that Bayern Munich lost against Augsburg in the first leg of the competition.
Yeah, how did Augsburg win that game? I really don't know. It was when Augsburg was in real big trouble. No one expected anything of them, and they beat Bayern Munich 2-1. But yeah, it was not the first time that Bayern gave away some points to their neighbor, because it's only about 1 driving hour to Augsburg from Munich. So yeah, that's kind of nice from Bayern Munich. They have enough points, so even in this game they also can give away some points, and it's no problem. But I don't think so, because they're playing at home now, and they have showed in the last games that they are getting stronger and stronger in the more important part of the season. I like that, because we often had the case that Bayern Munich just slashed everyone in the Bundesliga, and then at the end they had a lot of injuries and they missed important games in the Champions League semi-finals, and then yeah, that was not that really great. So I have the hope still that Bayern Munich will win the Champions League this year. It's a hard way. Yeah,
still far.
I don't know how difficult it will be against Villarreal. But yeah, I hope they will kind of only let the second row play here against Augsburg, so that the really important players will play against Villarreal. On the other hand, yeah, I don't see any chance for Augsburg here. The only chance will be if Bayern Munich allows them to do something, but we don't get good odds here. Even if a draw gives us odds of 11, that is maybe worth a little money, but not real big betting.
Perhaps both teams to score, no? Because Bayern, they are always conceding, not always, but they concede often.
Yeah, it's yeah, you can with odds of 1.98. It's really interesting. I see the same. But yeah, I really don't trust Augsburg too much, and even if they won at home against Wolfsburg, I think in Munich it's a complete different thing. And so betting on a weak team scoring goals against Bayern Munich, not always my favorite bet, but the odds are good enough to try, maybe with small money also.
Let's go to the next one. Cologne and Mainz, two teams that their trajectory is very similar actually. Both struggled last season. They had a very good second leg, and in this season was the opposite. No, they had a very good start. Now they are comfortable in the middle of the table. You were right in the visit of Mainz against Gladbach. It was a draw with very good odds. And this seems like a very, very balanced game as well, and the draw could be a possible outcome here.
Yeah, my first idea of this game was, hey, sure thing, bet on a draw. You can't make a lot of wrong here, because they are really kind of the same situation. They both have great season for their expectations, and also in the last games, Mainz was really good. Cologne lost their last game against Union Berlin close, so that's not really bad. So, but both teams are really good in shape, and that's why a draw is a good option with odds of 3.4 around. I would only bet 1/3 of a unit. So always my goal is to win 1 unit, and the higher the odds, the lower my betting amount. But I think if you have a look at the home and the away standings, you will clearly see that Mainz always has a lot of problems when they're playing on a away field. And on the other hand, Cologne is really good playing at home. That leads that I see kind of small value or advantage on Cologne here. And I would bet on Asian handicap 0 on Cologne, knowing that it might be a draw. But if it's a draw, I don't lose money with this bet. And that's why I tend to bet kind of Asian handicap 0 on Cologne here.
All right, last 6 games for Cologne, under 2.5 goals. So if you go for under in this game, odds are around 2.0, because we are not seeing, again, many goals in Cologne games. Then we have Furth, Gladbach. Here, of course, with the good squad that Gladbach have, we can be tempted not to put our money on them, but we know that they are struggling this season. And Furth, be careful, because we look at the standings, no, and of course they are the worst team in this Bundesliga, but at home only 1 defeat in the last 8 games.
Yeah, that's really amazing, and that is the problem with Furth. Last game day at Frankfurt and against Freiburg, they didn't concede a goal, and that is a really good job. So they have completely focused on defense, on defending, and that's why it could be also hard for Gladbach in this game. And they didn't lose against Frankfurt and Freiburg, so why should they lose at home where they are better than on away fields? Why should they lose against Gladbach here? That is the one side of the medal. On the other hand, we're still speaking of Furth, and I don't ever bet on Furth, I think, and I don't bet against them now, so I don't want to put my money on Gladbach. The odds of 1.7 on Gladbach are a bit too low. As you mentioned before, I also can imagine that this will be a low-scoring game of under 2.75. You get odds of 2.0. That is, in my eyes, the best bet in this game. But I can understand everyone who's not into under betting because we as football fans, we want to see goals, and betting against goals is kind of weird.
Yeah, but it's true. I actually Gladbach against Mainz, Bochum or Hertha, for instance, we saw low scoring games. And as you are saying, no, Furth, they are very focused in defending. So why not trying this? And talking about the relegation zone, we have a massive game. The next two games that we are going to analyze. First one, Wolfsburg, Bielefeld. Wolfsburg is still in trouble, 3 consecutive defeats. The last one, 3-0 against Stuttgart, really bad actually. And for Bielefeld, well, that point against Stuttgart actually put them out of the direct relegation spots. Still, they struggle a lot. They don't score enough. Wolfsburg to win 1.7.
Yeah, and Wolfsburg lost 3 games in a row, and I was pretty optimistic that they can at least take 1 point from Augsburg. Everyone should have been optimistic, and the odds were good because Wolfsburg only lost against top 6 teams, and against other teams like Augsburg, they should have collected their points. Now they lost against Augsburg. But I think we have the same situation here, that Wolfsburg has much more potential than Bielefeld. And Bielefeld really showed that they are, they have really big problems. That they didn't lose against Stuttgart last week was because they are also good in defending, and they have one of the best keepers in the league. And I heard that Bayern Munich has interest on 𝐜𝐿𝐴, and that's year by year he's really good, but he also collects a lot of goals because playing at Bielefeld is the way that you collect a lot of goals. In this game, I don't see another option than betting on Wolfsburg again. For sure, it's not the best odd of 1.7, and I really don't like it too much. But I think this is the only option. Then betting on a draw or on Bielefeld is just speculation, and I think Wolfsburg has, compared to the strengths of the teams, for sure the power to beat Bielefeld.
They are in bad form. Bielefeld, they drew, as we mentioned, against Stuttgart, but before they collected 4 defeats without scoring a single goal. And we know that Wolfsburg, they were playing even the Champions League. No, this season they've improved a little bit with 𝐿𝐴𝐿, but they are struggling a lot this season. They are favorites. And then we have Hertha Union Berlin. This is another massive game for the relegation. Here we have odds very balanced, actually. The draw is the most likely outcome for the bookies, but we have to remember that Hertha, they won their first game with Magath on the bench when they were playing at home, 3-0 against Hoffenheim. And this Union Berlin, Radek, we are saying the same the whole season, that away they are way poorer than when they are playing in the capital.
And I think we have special rules in this game.
Derby, yeah.
Yeah, because it's a derby with Hertha and Union, and I think in a normal game, maybe a draw will be fair enough. But as you mentioned, Felix Magath is a big game changer. I've spent about 1 weekend discussing with friends who didn't admire Felix Magath that much that I do. And I just told them, just read Wikipedia about Magath, and read what he's done in his career, it's amazing. And I don't think there is another coach in Germany who has the same vita and the same success. And if someone can save Hertha, then Felix Magath. And I think in this game, that's the point. We have seen a win of Hertha against Hoffenheim, no one expected, out of the blue. And Magath wasn't even on the bench. We've seen a really improved Hertha team against Leverkusen, where they only lost 2-1 after being behind 2-1. That's not a really bad result, knowing that Leverkusen is going to the Champions League. And so in this game, we know Union Berlin is struggling also a lot in this season. Managed to win closely against Cologne at home, where they're really good. Now they're playing away, not far away, but in another stadium in the same town. So I think the chances that Hertha is not losing the game are really, really good. And I would bet on this with Asian handicap 0, and the odds are 1.94.
All right, this is for the games we have on Saturday. On Sunday, we have Bochum Leverkusen. You just mentioned how Leverkusen, they are getting closer to the goal of qualifying for the Champions League. Now 6 points difference with Freiburg after beating Hertha and Wolfsburg. Without the Europa League, they are fully focused in the Bundesliga, but it's not easy to going to play against Bochum. What a season, eh? They've been great. Remember that they are a newly promoted team in the middle of the table, completely safe. They can now enjoy their games in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, maybe, and I think they are one of the biggest surprise in the season, and even maybe a bit more than Freiburg. And because I really thought Bochum won't make any points, or way lower points, and yeah, they are very, very attractive at the end. They beat Bayern Munich at home, and this was ridiculous and really great. And maybe they can do it again against Leverkusen. As we compare the last results at home of Bochum, they also made a point against Leipzig and against Dortmund, I think, or only lost very closely. So this is not a clear win for Leverkusen, maybe. Bochum is fighting, and yeah, they really have hot players like Asano made a brilliant game last game day, and that's why I don't see Leverkusen here to win clear, but maybe close. But I don't bet on a close win. I won't bet on Bochum as well, but both teams to score is an option here. I think we can trust Bochum to score at home. Maybe another brilliant goal of Holtmann or Pantovic, and we have odds of 1.64 for that. And maybe on the goals market, we find also interesting bets, as Patrick Schick is back. Leverkusen striker was injured a long time, I think two months, and he was substituted in the last game. So now, yeah, Leverkusen has a little bit more striking power again. And yeah, over 3 with odds of 2, I like. And let's have a high-scoring game on Bochum here.
Okay, Schick, that the Czechs were missing him, of course, in their playoff to play the World Cup. He will miss the World Cup in Qatar. Then 2 more games, Frankfurt-Freiburg. You mentioned that Freiburg are the biggest surprise in this Bundesliga, but perhaps the dream of playing the Champions League is fading away. Now 3 points away from Leipzig, and Leipzig are super strong, and they are playing against Frankfurt. Luckily for Freiburg, this game comes in the middle of the tie with Frankfurt and Barcelona. So seeing that Frankfurt, they are having a really bad run in the Bundesliga, maybe it's a good option, no, for Freiburg to win here. The odds are great because Frankfurt are favorites.
Yeah, I really like that, and everything you said is correct. And I think Frankfurt is just, yeah, hot for this game against Barcelona. Really, really interesting. But it's just the name of games, as we've seen Barcelona playing that bad in this Champions League season. And now, still, one of the greatest club in the world, and playing at Frankfurt. I think last time a great club playing at Frankfurt like this was about 3 weeks ago, Bayern Munich. Okay, just kidding. But it's really a great game, international game, awesome. So Freiburg should make here at least 1 point. That's why Asian handicaps 0 on Freiburg can be an option. We get odds of 2.11. That's really great. And for an 𝐿𝐭𝐴, maybe double chance on Freiburg with 1.6 is also an option. But as a single bet, I'm happy again with the Asian handicap 0 on a really good team like Freiburg.
And the last game is Leipzig, Hoffenheim. What a game Leipzig played in Dortmund. Really improved under Tedesco, although at home they drew the last 2 home games. Luckily for them, they are playing against Hoffenheim. Is one of these teams, that they've done also a great season, probably overperforming, but they are losing the hope of qualifying for the Champions League and maybe even for Europe.
Yes, and after a great run where I also thought that Hoffenheim is overperforming. Now they lost the last 2 games against teams where they should win if they want to go to international spots, like Hertha and Bochum. And that's why, on the other hand, Leipzig at home and Leipzig on a run. Leipzig really great against Dortmund. Everything leads to a Leipzig win. The odds on Leipzig are 1.58. That's a bit too low and at the end too dangerous. After that great game, maybe they are going back to reality against Hoffenheim, and also on the other hand, Hoffenheim can be better. But Asian handicap -1 on Leipzig gives us odds of 1.88, and that's for sure not a bad bet. I can understand everyone who wants to bet on that. I personally don't. But it's hard to find good bets here because it seems like a clear thing. And always, if you think it's too clear and everyone knows it's the best not betting on it, like we've seen last game day, Frankfurt favorite at home against Furth, it was a draw. Hoffenheim favorite against Bochum at home, they lost. And that's why betting on favorites like this is not my favorite betting style. I can see both teams to score. We get odds of 1.65, and that is better than betting on a winner or draw or something in that game.
And we have to remember that Leipzig, they are also playing in the Europa League, one of the clubs that are favorite to win the competition for sure. So they will put also a lot of eggs in the European basket. Radek, let's go with your 𝐿𝐴 then.
I would combine on this game day Freiburg double chance with odds of 1.65, because I think Frankfurt might be with their heads in the Europe Cup, and I would combine this with Wolfsburg win at home against Bielefeld, because they also have to make points. This odd will be 1.7. And I like Asian handicap 0 on Cologne against Mainz at home, because I think Cologne is not the worst team. They should make at least 1 point, and if it's a draw, we get our money back and we don't break our 𝐿𝐴𝐴. So at the end, we have 3 games with odds of around 1.7. And I just calculate for you, but at the end it depends on your bookie, because every bookie has more or less odds on the combination of the 3. But you should get around of 4.4 and 4.7, and for 3 games with realistic outcomes, I think that's good enough.
Great, Radek, as always, let's enjoy Bundesliga, and thank you.
Thank you. Next time, see you.
You have your show for the Bundesliga this week. Let me know what you think about Radek's tips. And of course, don't forget to leave your comments, press the like and subscribe. Or if you prefer as well, we have a podcast for you. Thanks for watching.